Hello everybody, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I'm going to do a video today based on a comment that I got on my YouTube channel, which I copied and pasted over my Facebook, and it addresses the court story, the protective order hearing that happened in 2013. And this come in on a recent video, which I think is important, called Odessa Attic Phone Call. Okay, and what this video, which I just recently made, was a guy from Odessa that owned a home in Odessa was telling me about people in the attic, and I recorded the phone call, and then I made it in a video. He knew I was, he knew I was going to make that public. And interestingly, just a couple days later, another woman from Odessa contacts me and tells me about another home in Odessa where people's in the attic, and I haven't even made a video about that or anything yet. I mean, that one's brand new. Right now, I'm looking at somewhere. I created a spreadsheet the other day, and I think there's like 44 addresses that I've got on this spreadsheet of other people that have reported people in the attic, documented the police scanner calls, people told me about it, they emailed me, commented on the YouTube channel, whatever. So like names, addresses, dates, as much information. Sometimes I get more information than other times, and sometimes I've actually personally talked to these people and went to the homes and took pictures and all that. It's an incredible amount. Remember, when I was ambushed and shot, I was reporting burglar alarms going off my attic. I reported somebody in my attic a year before that, starting in 2011. I was told the last owner was reporting people breaking this house before he died. And even right now, you can look up, there's a motion detected security light on in my attic right there above the TV right now. And that's not always on. That comes with hearing people move around in your house. They're breaking in this home, breaking in all these other homes rigged all over the nation. This is a huge, huge story. And, it should have been national headline news a long time ago, especially after they tried to kill me, and my life has been ruined in an effort to cover up these crimes, absolutely destroyed. And the only thing I did was work on my life, save my money, and bought a home, except it was a rigged home and I didn't know it. Okay, so here's the question. Here's what this is about, and a comment coming in today, and this guy here, my email is the username. Do you have a lawyer? Maybe you could sue for this case being handled improperly, which would for a new investigation, which would start a new investigation. Okay, and so I think that's a fair question. And I put a long reply in there, and then I put a link to a video here called Follow the Money. It's a short video that we'll listen to here in a minute, but I'm just going to go over my reply, and then this is going to explain what I was explaining to him. Now, of course, there's more to it, and there's a whole bunch of evidence that, my YouTube and Facebook's filled with evidence, plenty of evidence that I post over and over and over again. And so I'm just going to, you can listen to this if you want, and give you an idea of what happened with the courts. Okay. I replied, I said, I've always had the option of filing civil lawsuits for damages, and I believe there are many valid ones here, but I've chosen to not do that right now because I feel like our court systems are as corrupt as the 11 police that accidentally caught themselves on camera covering up a capital attempted murder and then remained secret for 6 years while I've lived under the threat of death with daily crimes being committed against me. Remember, this is the first time in the history of America crime victim offered a reward to identify police, and not a news story in the nation. That's what's been going on while crimes are still being committed against me. 22 months after the murder attempt, the ex-wife in the Midland DA's office filed a protective order against me when I hadn't seen or talked to her in a year and a half, plus she lived over 100 miles away. This was the wife from the 3-month marriage that I filed divorce on 5 days before I was shot, okay? And I believe this was a mockery of our justice system and done to smear my name, and I believe was really an attempt to try and force me out of my home, because I believe that's what's really been trying to go on. They want me out of my home because it's, they're trying to literally cover up murders, and this home is rigged with the underground home in the backyard, and it's believed the young girl was murdered there, etc. I cashed out my 401k, and I paid a lawyer $42,000 to try and defend myself from these false allegations. Keep in mind that I was never charged with a crime, so I didn't plead guilty or not guilty, nor did I get a jury of my peers. This was a PO hearing before a judge. Okay. My attorney presented evidence showing that the former boyfriend of the ex-wife said that he believes she was involved in the shooting from the things he heard her say, and that she threatened to have him killed too, but this was ignored. He since went on last year. He posted on his Facebook that it overheard her planning with her corrupt police friends to kill me and steal my life insurance. I have a print screen of his Facebook post from that. To our surprise, it was found out in court that Detective Rosie Rodriguez and my ex-wife had gone to elementary and junior high together, and they were lifelong friends. Rosie Rodriguez was one of the main secret police who is now known to have tampered with evidence and told blatant lies on the police reports. In fact, it now looks like it was police under my home that shot me. Okay. The ex-wife and Detective Rosie Rodriguez both testified under oath that I was delusional because I believed that people were in the attic. Back then, I didn't have 40 other homeowners documenting reporting people in the attic, or multiple people documented saying that tunnels and underground homes were here. Interestingly, there is a recording of the ex-wife admitting to trying to extort around $1,800 a month from me over the crimes at this home, with the threat that that she would tell everybody that I was crazy if I refused to pay her the extortion money. But that wasn't presented in court. I didn't pay, and she carried out her extortion threat with the help from this corrupt Midland police officer. It's a crime racket. The ruling came back. Some people wondered if Rosie Rodriguez was working with her to get some of that extortion money, and maybe some of these other homes that, the extortion's going on with the Midland police, The ruling come back from the judge and gave me a lifetime protective order and took away my right to own guns for life. This left me disabled and defenseless, with people still breaking into my home and threatening my life. I believe they were hoping that I would then move, and that way they could cover up the underground homes and the oil show parties that had gone on here. More importantly, they wanted to cover up the capital murder of the young girl at the 2010 oil show party and the suspected murder of Mike Lawhon, the previous owner of my home, which happened the week before the 2008 oil show started. Okay, I'm going to scroll up. I appealed this to the Texas appeals, I appealed this ruling to the Texas appeals court, but they upheld the ruling, and I tried to take it to the Texas Supreme Court, but was turned down. This shows that they can take away guns from anybody, and it doesn't matter that you've never had a felony or that you're a 28-year company man and homeowner with no mental problems. All it takes was life-destroying lies told by two people who were connected with a for-profit capital murder attempt. This is why I focused on the criminal side of the case, the murders, the burglaries, the thefts, which should have been done a long time ago, as there are homeowners all over the country reporting the same crimes that I reported when I was ambushed and shot. It's easy to see that a girl was murdered at an underground oil show party in 2010, and the last owner of my home was murdered the week before the 2008 oil show started. The remains of a 14 to 21-year-old girl was found outside of Midland 2013. I believe it's the girl that Angie told me about that was murdered at the 2010 oil show parties. What has been going on here is lawlessness that is aided by a corrupt press who won't report the facts and the truth to the public. The public's not being warned and not being shown the facts of this case. They're literally killing one innocent homeowner after another, and then they use the court system to do that. Okay, so here's this video, Follow the Money, that I was talking about that didn't get submitted in court. And what this was 4 months before the murder attempt. Me and the ex-wife sit down. I wanted to get her on record and to document what was going on at the time. And here, I'm going to let you listen to this. Here, I'm going to...
See, I can never figure out why when you're the one that's going to make money off of it. See, I can never figure out why would this all happen? And then all of a sudden, wow, who the hell is going to follow the cash? Who's going to make money off this house being broken in? And how in the world can you know and say that somebody's coming across the attic and breaking in the house and turn around and go, here's what you're going to do. You're going to pay me $1,800 or $1,200 a month, or I'm going to lie about everything that I've seen and tell everybody you're crazy. You're the only one that was going to make money off the house. Does that tie you back into the people breaking?
See, she said, I made a mistake. She didn't say I didn't do it. She said, I made a mistake, right? She admitted to trying to extort money. She admitted to being a witness to the crimes at here. And then she goes to court and testifies that I'm delusional because I believe some people's breaking in this house. And she was trying to profit off of it. Let me go a little bit more.
In the house. Conspiracy?
Absolutely not.
Huh?
Absolutely not. In your mind, yes. Obviously it does. In your mind, obviously it does.
You know, I stand from the outside.
No, it's absolutely not true.
I stand from
the truth of the matter is that's what Greg suggested.
So it was Greg's fault, okay? So then all of a sudden it's not her fault that she tried to extort $1,800 a month from me over the crimes at this house that she was a witness to, that she knew was going on because Greg told her to, okay? So that you know, here, that's the evidence I'm talking about, you know? And I just, that's the reason I put this video in there and explain this story, okay? And so, here it is on YouTube channel. Follow the money. I want to show you another guy. There was a guy here, and it's that chapter. Okay, 1.19 million subscribers on YouTube. Created a video called Buddy Webb and the Disturbing Tunnels Under Texas, and I've almost 2 million views on this video. This guy calls me crazy, and he references this appeals court case, and he actually goes and shows pictures of it because you can look it up on Google. I lost my mouse thanks to the sorry internet connection here. I can't run my computer. But anyways, on the internet, you can look up this case that is the appeals court case, right? That's what he shows right here, okay? And so what he's trying to do is smear my name. That was the whole thing, was trying to smear my name. There's a picture of the guy right here. That 2 million people, and then he references the lies told by Rosie Rodriguez and the ex-wife. Now remember, she admitted to on tape to trying to extort $1,800 a month from me and was a witness to the crimes here. Then she goes to court and she lies along with her lifelong friend, Detective Rosie Rodriguez, in this premeditated home invasion, capital attempted murder that crippled me for life and destroyed my life. And this guy tells lies on a YouTube video. It gets spread to 2 million people. They're calling me crazy, okay? And of course, all the facts are left out of it. One of the big lies that come up in that case is called the tripwire lie by Rosie Rodriguez. I have the entire transcript of this case right here. It was just a mockery of justice. And this cop here is the dirty of the dirty, what she is, and she's still a cop right here. There's no telling how many people, how many good innocent people she's railroaded. I mean, she is so dirty. It's just unbelievable. And as far as I'm concerned, she should be in prison. Okay, she makes up this lie and says there was a tripwire attached to my gun, went across from one wall to the other wall. And this is just an absolute blatant lie. There was no tripwire. I wasn't shot with my gun. I was shot by somebody under my home is what happened. And Now we know that, okay? But here she swore to this under oath in this courtroom, okay? Now we know that because of the secret police pictures, there were 11 police officers, right? Only one out of 11 police officers that mentioned a tripwire was this dirty cop, Rosie Rodriguez. Only one out of all of them, okay? Nobody. There is no tripwire in evidence, okay, right? If there was a tripwire, it would be in evidence, okay? Here's a crime scene investigator named Marty Barrett. Marty Barrett picked up my shotgun from my home, okay? And Marty Barrett didn't mention any tripwire. There was no tripwire. She went to that protective order and made up that lie about this tripwire and saying, I was shot with my gun. There was no tripwire, and I wasn't even shot with my gun. Somebody else shot me from under my home. And the other thing here, Marty Barrett also checked in 4 live shells from that shotgun. But what Marty Barrett didn't check in was an empty shell. And if I had shot myself, there would have been an empty shell in that gun, and it would have been checked into evidence by Marty Barrett, and that didn't happen. That was just more proof. There's all kinds of proof now showing I wasn't shot with my gun. There's a whole bunch of stuff known now that wasn't known back then. But the point I'm making is that Rosie Rodriguez went into to court and blatantly lied and destroyed an innocent crime victim's life to cover up the capital attempted murder on my life that it now believe police were involved in, maybe police under my home that tried to kill me, right? And then, of course, the other murders connect to this house. And here on the secret police pictures, this is the camera in my bedroom that they tried to disable the camera and accidentally stopped it. This is what messed them up. And, anyway, this timestamp picture at 1:29:12 shows Rosa Rodriguez in my home, okay? So it was 6 years later before the private investigator collected the reward money and identified all the secret police, okay? 3 days later was on the second entry, February 1st. That was supposed to be the only entry anybody knew about. This entry over here is when they were staging the crime scene, planting evidence, etc. But here's the second entry. And the only person seen on both entries is that same dirty cop, the friend of the ex-wife, okay, Rosie Rodriguez. And I'm going to show you one more here. This is another secret police picture. When I returned from the hospital, I found my cell phone planted behind this nightstand that Rosie Rodriguez is leaned over. I believe she was planting my cell phone behind that nightstand. And what happened was, before I was shot, my cell phone was stolen, and then my cordless phone, or my home phone, was disconnected. So after they shot me and I fell to the ground, I had no communications, okay? That's what forced me to crawl out to get help. I would have called for help if I could have. They tried to kill me in my home. When I returned back from the hospital, I found my cell phone planted behind this nightstand, and I found my home phone back working, and Rosie was leaned over the nightstand with April Chandler standing next to her. It looks like her based on the timestamps of the pictures. These two cops waited for the other cops to leave the room, and then they planted that stolen cell phone back there. The cell phone that was stolen before I was shot, because whoever shot me and planned on me bleeding out and dying since I didn't have communications. And then here's the big kicker. On the police reports, Rosie Rodriguez says, Buddy said his phone was not charged, so he went outside and screamed for help. She made that up. I did not say that. And the truth is, I had the cordless phone in my pocket, which was fully charged because it sat on the charger all the time. And the only reason I had it was because my cell phone was stolen. The cell phone that she is planting when she's leaned over this nightstand. And as far as to my knowledge, she's still a police officer right now. Actually, I was just told within a month ago, a friend of mine sat on a court case, and they sent a young man to prison for life on a child sex charge, and the only witness was the child. So it was his word against her word, or whatever. They had no physical witness or whatever, and he went to prison for the rest of his life. But she told me, she said, I felt real bad about that, and the main detective on that case, and this was recently, was Detective Rosie Rodriguez. Rosie Rodriguez, that made up the tripwire lie that spread to destroy the life of a crime victim. Because in my backyard right now is an underground home, and that's where they're having the mole show parties, and that's what's connected to all these murders around here. And lastly, let's don't forget that the police report shows Dickie in my house at 11:05, and he wasn't seen arriving on the security camera. That's how I know he was under my home, and it was somebody under my home that shot me. This Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.